Before the murder, before the headlines, before the world knew his name, Nicholas Godejohn was filming himself, alone, in his room, saying things that now feel deeply unsettling. These weren't meant for court, they weren't meant for the public. But once you see what he recorded, you can't unsee it. And the most disturbing part? This was all captured before the crime. Let's take a look.
The suffocating grip of control, the insidious weave of deception, and the chilling perversion of maternal love. These are the forces that drive manipulation and betrayal. The Gypsy Rose and D.D. Blanchard story. This psychological thriller plunges into one of modern history's most disturbing true crime cases, dissecting the grotesque bond between Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her mother, D.D. A bond meticulously constructed from lies, engineered dependency, and paralyzing fear. Within the pristine facade of their Springfield, Missouri home, D.D. spun an elaborate charade, convincing the world her daughter was gravely ill. Gypsy, confined to a wheelchair and subjected to countless unnecessary medical procedures, lived a life dictated by her mother's fabricated ailments. But as the cracks in D.D.'s meticulously built illusion began to show, Gypsy's desperate yearning for freedom ignited a terrifying chain of events that would ultimately shatter a nation's understanding of family. Through its relentless narrative, manipulation and betrayal unearths the psychological torment of life under Munchausen syndrome by proxy, the slow, agonizing unraveling of deceit, and the harrowing quest for truth and redemption. Readers will witness Gypsy's harrowing transformation, from a helpless victim to a defiant survivor, while confronting unsettling questions about trust, identity, and the fragile, often blurred boundaries between love and control. This chilling yet profoundly human story not only exposes the horrors of extreme manipulation, but also illuminates the indomitable resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable betrayal.
What's your emergency?
A huge shout-out and heartfelt thanks to Into the Weeds podcast on Military Broadcast Radio. Their incredible footage was invaluable to this case, and I couldn't have done it without them. Please, take a moment, head over to their channel, hit that subscribe button, and tell them Crime Champ sent you.
I did see Dimona. Yes, it's you, Victor, Master. Yes, Master Victor. It seems that I noticed that I mentioned Dimona's name in this video. I haven't done a video in a while, so I figured I would have her involved just by saying her name. Anyway, Gypsy is the one that should be really watching this video in deep depth. Though, the reason why I say you should be watching this video in deep depth, Gypsy, is because you're the one who's going to have to remember what I'm about to tell you. And you can have this one done as soon as you possibly could. I noticed how Nick gave you an example of he gave you an example of how you were to do one video. I always take my time when speaking, as you've always noticed that about myself. Since I always seem to think a lot faster than his brain usually would be able to comprehend if he was a full vampire, which good thing he's not. Because I'm not so sure his body will handle it. Anyway. The thing that you have to make sure you remember and you do a video of this, just because I think it's time for you to set the whole situation straight on what Nick needs to know. And also, he keeps bringing it up, and then he might have shown you that earlier. And no, I was not going to do this video until you cleaned this room enough to where it wasn't clothed all over the floor. So yes, I made sure you did that before I was willing to do this video. But sooner or later I was going to do it either way. Anyways, Gypsy, now this is what you have to know. What you have to know is that you have to make Nick a sexual video. This is in no form, shape, or any other way like his birthday video. This is completely different. What you have to do is stay straight open about it. Speak straight open about it. He keeps bringing up his penis size. He keeps mentioning other sexual things. You have to let him know about them. However, not only do you have to let him know about them, all the different topics you could possibly talk about with sexuality in person, you'd have to let him know on camera. I'll give you an example of topics, and if you think of more, you obviously where to speak of them would be smart. Examples would be, obviously, how do you feel about him eating you out? You know that he obviously would be a, what they use in gamer terms, newbie at it, meaning it's his first try. Or if you wish to just call it, you'd be, I guess you could say, an eating out virgin if you wish to call it that way too. Which is an interesting way to put it. You also need to do, not just mention that, obviously mention how you feel about giving him blowjobs, obviously. How you feel about him going in your ass, and the first time he ever goes into your pussy, obviously. Those are obvious things you need to make sure you know about, let him know about. However, I am including Dimona in this video for a reason. She has to do a short video on certain topics I'm mentioning too. Dimona, I'll get to you shortly on what that is. But the rest that Gypsy could talk about here is pretty much, I gotta get rid of that, okay. Is pretty much all those other things I just said. I add something to it. Let's see here. But how you feel about being constricted. When I say constricted, that obviously means being tied up, handcuffs, all that stuff. The kinky side of all of it. I don't know about that. Maybe him eating food off of you, maybe. What else could I think of as ideas of things to do? Just having to think about all this. May turn myself on, but nothing new there. Nothing new at all. Oh. How you feel about his rape fantasies? There's another one. How you feel about the romantic ones that you know he has? Such as maybe you and him doing it in the shower, or you and him doing it on the beach, or you and him doing it in other romantic ways. What else should I mention in this video that maybe it would be a good idea to do? Mention your chest size. Mention even your virginity. Why it's so special to you that you save it for him. even that. We're going in depth here. So that means Gypsy's side of this video will be long, but Demona's is short. Because I'll tell you shortly, Demona, what you're gonna let me and Nick know. That's right, us both know. But Gypsy's only focusing on Nick. Now, Gypsy, the last thing you need to know. Settle, that's what we just mentioned. And this is going to be important to him. Obviously, I mentioned is you changing your dress size, obviously, or how you feel about it, or how you feel about your virginity, how you believe it's rightfully his, and such. Besides that, and all the rest of that stuff I mentioned, the last thing you need to know is that when it comes to your body shape, sexual attraction is also about that too. You know how he feels about it. I'll remind you just so you can't say you don't remember. You may remember he said something like, as long as you're in healthy shape, which means you might be slim or slender. Slender means you actually still have muscle to yourself, so that's the reason why that word fits better. But yes, if you are slender, where you're somewhat slim, but at the same time have muscle, like he'll probably end up being slender just like you. Ironically, how soulmate bodies are that way, seem to copy off each other like that, even though he's way taller than you. Yes, I do remember that. Anyways, yes, Gypsy, what you also have to mention is that that's part of the whole body thing, besides your chest and your vagina, you know, the rest of that. Your first kiss, that's technically a sexual emotion, even though it's romantic, obviously, it's also sexual. What do you feel about that with them? Get in detail. Try to mention as many different things I just mentioned, because the more you mention, the better you'll please me, and the more you'll reassure Nick on what he is wondering about, because he's going to be curious about that area all the time, and that's just the natural nature of a man, though, so don't hold that against him. Anyways, alright, so do all that stuff. Remember all that stuff I just mentioned, and maybe even if you wish to say, just so he knows what's comfortable for you. You said that his dick size obviously perfect for you, but if you wanted to get it bigger, you would allow him. Now tell him how big you'd be willing to be okay with. I'm serious, Gypsy. Tell him that too. You said 10 was freaky. Do you know that the vagina can actually stretch out to 9 inches? Did you not know that? It's true. When it's in the moment, it can do that. You did not know that. So that means if you'd be willing to let it stretch out to 9 inches, such as his dick to go that far, let him know. Obviously 10 might be too much because of being pain. Maybe 9 would be the limit. You'd say, okay, maybe that's big enough, so this way it fits my penis into your vagina. Obviously, is what he would be thinking. It's just up to you if you decide to mention that, and I highly suggest you do. The only command I will give you on this video is that you do this. Gypsy, me as your masturbator, I command you to mention as many of the sexual topics, have a serious discussion with them on video. Mention many of these sexual topics I mentioned. If you can mention them all, that means you'll please me completely and you'll have him completely reassured. But yes, mention as many of these as you can on video, no matter how long it would take you to remember them all, if you can. Yes, Demona, you're willing to help her remember, I'll allow you to. But yes, remember as many of these and make sure you answer them all for Nick. Now I'll add Dimona into the conversation. It's almost 12 minutes. I'll take my time though. Dimona, obviously I'm your soulmate, obviously I'm your master, obviously you see me as your everything. Now, I brought you in this conversation for a reason. You're only to mention two things. Maybe I change my mind. Three. Three is perfect for me. And yes, you're involving Nick and me for your answers, though. Just because I told you so. And obviously, you're the most obedient naturally there is. So I know you're going to listen to exactly as I tell you to. Here's what you need to know. Dimona, I'm going to give you a command right now. Remember it, because it's a two-part command. You can handle more than one part commands because you're just natural for it. It's just why you can handle it. Not to mention you're smart enough to handle it. That's another reason why. Mature enough and all the rest of those other reasons why. Anyways, Dimona, I command you to remember what I'm about to tell you and make sure you mention it in the video that you share with Dimona and Gypsy put together, such as your video you share with Gypsy. Alright, the thing that you need to remember is this. I command you to remember to mention how you feel about... You know what? I decided I'm going to go deeper on this. It's not three. I'm the extreme one out of the four of us. That's the reason why Dimona's going to have to adjust to it. Dimona, there's 5 things you have to remember out of sexual things we're talking about here. However, we're going to start with an extra one just to get that out of the way. Dimona, what I want you to do is, this is not necessarily a command, I'm just telling you to do it without a command. This one thing right here. So wait for the command when it comes. But this is what I want you to do. Tell Nick on how you plan on taking advantage of him, raping him pretty much. Because me as your master, I'll expect you to do it a lot. And because he is turned on by it, that means you can walk all over him all you want. Meaning raping him all you want. And I don't think Gypsy's gonna get in the way, because if she knows that it's something that I expect out of you, she's gonna obviously respect my wishes and go with the flow. Not to mention it's her body that's going on it, so there's no reason for her to say no to it. And even if she said no, you wouldn't be able to have reason to not do it, because it's your master telling you so. But yes, you let him know on how you plan on raping him all the time. And yes, make sure you tell him it isn't me all the time. Every moment you get a chance to do it, you're going to attempt to do it. And the only thing that I'm going to expect out of him is that he gives you, obviously, no trouble at all at first, but each time you do it, he's going to give you more trouble. So this way you get better at it. Why is this? So this way, when we were to do some crazy stuff as a crime couple, we'll just say that you'd be really good at it at that point, where you'd be able to have fun with me, we'll just say. So yes, you mentioned that part of the rape, where you're going to force yourself on him all the time. And then you also have to mention my part of it. What's my part? How you plan on submitting to me all the time, and me force myself on you. Make sure you do that, Gypsy. Sorry about that, Gypsy. I meant Dimona. Having about 1,000 thoughts going through my head of both of you can be mind-puzzling. Anyways, yes. That's what I told you to do, which is not a command, but it's an idea to do to make me happy. Dimona. So, remember that. Mention to Nick how you plan on raping him all the different times. Sometimes just normal rape, which means you're not going to use any constraints, and other times you will use constraints. You got to get better without constraints for you to truly master it, though, which I do expect you to do over time. Just let you know that, Demon. And yes, I might be expecting a lot out of you. That's nothing new to you. And obviously, you already know to mention my side of it too. How you plan to submit to me, whether it's constraints or no constraints. Alright. Then you've got Gypsy. She has a lot to remember. Hopefully she remembers that side of her video. I gotta now get the 5 things out of the way, just so I try to make it within 20 minutes, since that's a good time to hit it at. Dimona, now here's the command. I command you to remember 5 different things I'm about to tell you to make sure you mention in your video that you share with Gypsy. The 5 things are this. You make sure that you mention to me and Nick how you feel about giving blowjobs if you're truly a slut, as you try to prove to Shineri, or as you know him as the Black One. If you truly are that means you already know that you will fall in love with the idea of doing it, since that's your biggest job you'll ever have as sexually. That's the biggest job you'll ever have, is doing blowjobs, which means your mastery of it is a must. So yes, let us both know how you feel about it. Whether it's me or him, you're doing it too. You let us know how you feel about it. And the 2 other ones, which will add up to 3, how you feel about us doing your ass and us doing your pussy. You'd also mention that, Demona. Now the 4th and 5th thing, how you feel about threesomes, and how you feel about foursomes. Obviously, you'll probably, as you remember, doing them with your masters, what you mainly do it with. How you feel about doing those with me. Obviously, you have to match my sexuality. That's the reason why you would have to be willing to do those. And not to mention, you'll get more sexual by doing so. But you doing a threesome and foursome, you will actually get more sexual. Just remember that, Demona. So yes, those are the 5 things. Oh, and this is another one just to make your master happy. You can mention it to us both too if you want us both to be. You could say he'll be reassured while I'll just be put to ease on wondering about it. The 5th thing, you already said, you already know. But the 6th thing, as in it's a bonus thing you can mention. And I suggest that you do it just so you get as much information out in the video that you do with her as you can. It's about to be 20 minutes. Here it is. The bonus 6th thing is how you feel about eating gum. You know, Nick already did research to prove that it's actually good for a female body, so yes. Since he already did find it, and he even showed Gypsy, you obviously know it's good for you. So with that said, you have to mention how often you wish to do it, if you would do it at any time I told you to, or you would force him to let you eat it when maybe you're on him, you know, you force yourself on him, or such stuff like that. You have to let us know that too, Imana. Alright, now I gave you the video like I told you I would. Hopefully you actually remember your part, and Gypsy, hopefully you remember yours. Now I'm going to say goodnight to you both from this video, and hopefully you both will make me proud and pleased, or you'll make Nick happy and proud. And obviously reassured, since he's wondering about all those different topics I just mentioned. Well, I figured I'd put his mind at rest by giving you both commands about these things. Alright. Me, your master Victor, does love and adore Gypsy and Demona. Good night, my dear love slave and my dear love slave soulmate. May you both rest really well, sleep peacefully, and may you both also put me at content when I see your video to respond to this one, because I will expect it in the near future. When I say near future, I mean as soon as possible future. Remember that. So this way you can make me proud of you both. But since you both haven't made me disappointed lately, I'll give you both a kiss at the same time, known as a two-handed kiss, just because you both have earned it. The longer you don't disappoint me, the longer you'll keep me pleased, which means you might see more videos and more videos of me. I suppose you're both happy you got to see this one. Now, here's your good night kiss. My women. Make me proud, my love slaves. Both hopeless, as you both should be. Hey honey, figured I'd make you this small video. Just be a little pick-me-up for you, since you know I haven't given you any pictures or videos or anything in a while. You know, usually I'm pretty expressive to where I remember to do it all, but I don't know, there's been so much going on with me, as you know, but you just learned yesterday about the whole situation with the SSA and all the rest of that stuff. I might not having a job. There's so much going on with me as of lately that I could have, I could have probably did it before then, but even then there's stuff going on. As you can tell, I might have to shave it all off though, just almost like a full clean shave, just if I do work though, since they proper maintenance or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, now you know how big it's gotten. Right. I don't know necessarily, I guess you could consider it as almost like a mane, almost. It's not that thick though. Yeah, they would probably actually get that thick, thinking about it now. That's cute. Has some scarf to it. Alright, honey. Alright. Let's see, I want to at least make this a 2-minute video at least. This way you can enjoy me on camera for at least a little bit before I click out. Oh, what is there anything else I can mention to you? Thinking about it there. Well, just one other thing I wanted to let you know, I guess, is that that other night when you had that where you freaked out and such, after you learned about what should have been good news to you, you possibly working, I might as well just say it on camera, even though you know it's already true. Sweetheart, the very first time I ever said to you that I am the most loyal man you will ever know, it's true. It's true that you will know that, because I've shown it too many times. I've shown it's gone through hell for you already in the past. As you already know. We already have a history of where I've gone through hell for you. And I know there's certain pictures and stuff you requested from me, but for now I'm just doing this, 3-minute video. It'll probably be like 3 minutes and something seconds. So I'm about to end it really shortly. But I'm just doing this video to give you more of an update on me, pretty much. And I can't wait to maybe talk to you, maybe by video chat, or you give me a video on the subjects that we were talking about before, maybe. After you obviously get the whole testing your master out of the way. Your current master, should I say, since I'm gonna be yours in the future. Alright dear, well, I'm gonna say goodnight now. And I know you missed my accent, I'm not gonna use it this time. Alright honey, here we go. I'll be doing a recipe on my brass cream. And besides that, I also say good night, my lovely wife. I remember, honey, let's stay true to our bond and our actual, each other as well, sweetie. Ourselves. Yeah, I'm doing the full thing tonight this time. I'm usually doing mine. So that means make sure, always, make sure you're always dreaming of us together, honey. And then, mwah, and then, mwah, and then, mwah, back at you, honey. As I usually do at the end of the good night, usually. I figured I'd do something creative this time. And then, my good night final kiss of what I usually do on camera, actually. Alright, darling. Wow, you're lucky this is about over 5 minutes. It's because I'm just having fun making you a video. I guess, even though it's meant to be short. I guess 5 minutes is right at the short line. After 5 minutes, it starts becoming long. Alright, here's the last kiss, my darling. Alright, Gypsy. It's been a long time since I've actually talked to you on video. Yes, it's a massive right there. I figured I'd give you some words of wisdom before I was to give you to Nick. You see, there's a lot that you have to learn of what will happen as soon as he officially has you. The reason I say this is because as soon as he is yours and you are his, but you are his property, literally his property by official business relation to where you literally give yourself to in that way, while I will also have to sign something for this to be possible. But yes, when this happens, all this back talking I've been watching going on between you and him, and how you have been getting these fights to start. If you were to try to do this while he was your official master, you would have the power to do whatever he wanted to you. So that means you'd be very wise not to egg him on. Because do not deny it, the way I seen it went down between you two, you were egging him on. You were egging him on to start a fight. You admitted towards the end of yesterday that you were starting them. So you cannot deny what your master is speaking of right now. But yes, I figured I'd give you some words of warning, words of wisdom, and such. All that needed to know information. Another thing you should realize is that not is it a good idea to bad talk him when he's your master, because he has literally the power over you to do whatever he wishes. The thing is you will do one thing when you sign that actual paper. When you sign it, what will happen is you will literally surrender all of your power of yourself over to him. That is another thing you will do. And this is why he has as much power over you as he does. This is the reason why really you can't say my anymore for any of your stuff, because everything that's yours is his. By that actual paper, it means that everything that you ever was to own is now his, and you are his also, in complete comparison of what used to be versus what is at that time, which means everything that you're used to own is now his. Everything that, yes, so it literally is you signing all of you, and even what you used to possess as yours is his. So that's the reason why when he becomes your official master, you are literally his property. And as you have stated before, you believe he's not ready to be your daddy. The thing is you was telling the truth. You weren't expecting him to be off guard, but he was off guard on that day. Yes, yesterday he was off guard. So don't think he's ready. Don't think he's not ready. Just expect the unexpected instead. Because this way, you never know on the very bigger things that could take you off guard might still do it, but it won't take you off guard as badly. Since you know he has an unpredictable nature to himself. At most times he does, should I say. But anyways, the other stuff I must mention is that I mentioned that you were going to have to do a video to respond to this one. A short video, no more than 10 minutes. And I will be angry if it's more than 10 minutes. I will be not satisfied if it's less than 5. So you'll have an exact range to go between. But yes, I figured I would give you a video to actually mention all this, because at this point, I think it's that you are aware of what really will happen. And no, he does not need any more training. He is fully ready. You were just able to catch him off guard on that day because he wasn't sure of everything out of all the changes that happened. He wasn't sure if the brat part of you that it has first time ever showed herself, should I say. Yeah. First time that it showed herself, that brat part of you ends up being the same one that he's going to get very well acquainted with in the future. Because that's the little girl in him. I said in him because he'll have you as his property. Remember, you literally become every part of yourself as his. And you literally become one with him in that way of signing that. Which means you will no longer be able to say my. You will only be able to say our. He's aware of all this because I had to warn him about it before he was to go towards it. Before he is to actually sign his name on there. Well, you do yours and I do mine. And you'll learn what my actual last name is when I do this. And don't bother trying to look it up in the records because it's not on Earth. But anyways, yes, I must admit, all the different changes that will happen, besides you literally not being able to say that you own yourself anymore. You really won't even own yourself anymore. He will literally own you completely. You literally surrender your entire self, even ownership of your own body, ownership of your soul, everything will be his. And something I must mention, you notice how his lifetime expansion of number of lifetimes is much more bigger than yours. This is only your 8th. You must understand that your soul was created by his. If his soul didn't exist, you wouldn't be in this world. It's the truth. He used to have 2 parts of him that was there. You must understand the one that you used to call a black one, known as Shiniri, that took over for his bad side. For the moment, it did. You know where his actual bad side went into? I'm looking at it. Yes, you possess his bad side, and he has his good side, and you have your original good side. You might not realize this until I've just told you. So yes, that is a big reason why you feel as connected to him as you do. And that's the reason why every single time he tries to think of certain evil things, you seem to be more than intrigued with maybe really doing them. Because his actual bad side's in you. So through him being with you and him having ownership of you and everything else, he literally regains his bad side back. Otherwise, in his next lifetime, he will not be bad at all. He'll be 100% good. As I should warn you. And as for you, that may depend on how you are reborn. But anyways, I mainly had to open up some eyes on this, on everything that's going on. So yes, But what I said on Facebook, I might as well mention this. But what I said on Facebook is truth. He really does have the power to make your life hell if you try to make his life difficult. Make his life difficult, he can put you through hell, and he can make your life hell until you obey him. And that's the big reason why you must show him the respect that a master automatically deserves. You must show him the obedience that a master expects. And obviously for him, he knows that our selfless love, as I've told you and him, is the soulmate's type of love. And that's the reason why there is times where all of a sudden you'll show that selflessness that's naturally in him, while you have it naturally in you too. Which is actually coming from the good side, as I am aware of this. Well, his good side may be where the selflessness comes from also, if I would have to guess. But yes, I see it's now 10 minutes. I may go up to 15, but I'm not going to make an extremely long video like Nick normally does. However, I will mention a few more things that you should realize. I did mention before that you were going to have to make a 5 to 10 minute video to answer this one and give me it. I'm still waiting for your picture in red. I suggest you get it out of the way on the same day that you read and watch each thing that he said on that other day where he's wearing the same shirt that he has on now. However, he did get it washed, if you were wondering. But anyways, yes, you have to do so. Make sure you get that done soon, because you can't let time keep going by and keep going by while he's waiting. It makes no sense. Seriously, Gypsy, it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, yes, I've said what I've needed to say for the most part. The only other things I could really think of saying is, I'll give you the 5 words of rules, and you'll keep a master content if you keep these all in check. That's the last thing I'll do for you as your master before you are given to him in this video. I may give you one more video after this, which will be me saying my goodbye. Before, meaning my goodbye as your master. Before we actually do sign these papers. And as for the papers themselves, I will say, I'm putting a lot of thought through making them. Because I am, that's the reason why they're taking so long to make. But I did warn you of one thing, which is you'll have them before you meet him. So don't worry about them. Stop asking me about it. I'll tell you when they're done. Remember his pet peeves is when you're his slave and he's your master. You're gonna have to remember that. Because if you get on his bad side on a certain day or something and you are touching his pet peeves like as much as you are, it's gonna turn bad out for you. You're gonna have a really, really rough day. Now remember, all the stuff I've taught you, I've taught you a lot to be able to make sure he stays pleased. I know it's a lot for you to remember, but you being my slave for as long as you have, a year and a half, you've been my slave. And I've had a lot of time to teach you things. But yeah. Now I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. The 5 words of rules. And these 5 words of rules, I'm going to have a sentence for all 5 of them. And I'll use those words within those sentences. So this way it's a little easier to remember. Now, here we go. First rule, 5 word of the rules. Think selflessly, and you shall keep your master pleased. And if you keep him pleased, you're more than likely to obviously keep him along the path of being content. Second one. The second one would be worship him with beyond your heart. Give him the type of worshiping towards your own soul that only your soul is capable of being able to comprehend. And by you doing this, you will always remind him that he is worshipped. By you reminding him that, that means he always will feel wanted and needed. And that's pretty much the reason why you must make sure of that. Now the third one. Oh, you're going to get lucky if I let this go past 15. Looks like you're going to get lucky this time. But the third one is that when it comes to the third, you would have to say that the third word for a rule of words to remember, I guess you could call these the golden 5 words rules. Yeah, golden 5 rule words. That's what you should probably remember them as. The third one is that when it comes to how well you do obey him with hesitant less reaction, and also on the drop of a dime. What I mean by this is that when he says you to do something, unless you don't understand it because he didn't command you. I've taught you what the difference between command and an order is. An order, you can talk it over with them, and command, you have no choice but to do it. And I've taught you how to notice the difference between them, so don't even need to worry about explaining that any more than I already have. But yes, let's say if he told you to do something, the very second he told you to do it, unless you don't understand it, you do it. If you don't understand it, obviously ask him. As long as he's not commanding you. If he is commanding you, you can't even ask a question. You just must do what you think he's talking about. And no matter what, he will guide you to make sure you are doing what he's expecting. So you don't have to worry about getting lost, because no matter what, he's going to guide you. But anyways, yes. That's the third one. Obey your master within the drop of a dime, with hesitant-less reaction. Which means you do not hesitate, you just do it. Which is something you'll have to learn to do better. I'll be honest to the point it may hurt, just because it will make you a better person. Make you understand what you're doing wrong. That's the reason why you're lucky to have a future master as your twin flame male that is painfully honest. Because that is a quality that a master must have for his slave to grow. But yes, that is something you need to work on, as I will admit that. Now, the fourth thing is that when it comes to the fourth word, what do you think that would be? The word I will use is stay honest to him in a respectful but bearing in your soul manner. What this means is, obviously you know the word honesty. It was just used in there. That's the fifth. I meant the fourth word. I'll tell you the fifth shortly. But yes, the fourth word is obviously honesty. And by the way, I used it. It means that by you saying an honest opinion, but staying respectful to him, that will obviously prevent arguments. That is another reason why you do it. And by you doing this, what it means is that you will actually be able to communicate with him without having to worry about arguing. Because every single time you argue with him, you get yourself in trouble. That's the difference between him now and him as your master. You actually get yourself in trouble when you argue, and that's the reason why you want to stay away from it. But yes, by you giving an honest opinion, but at the same time being respectful, but you literally say what's your soul's feeling, you'll keep his respect in you, and that's another thing. A slave needs his respect from her master, so this way she doesn't have to worry about being misused and everything else, being trashed and all the rest of those words that a slave shouldn't worry about. That's the reason why you have to do it the way I said. Now the fifth word. As we're going to 20 minutes, lucky you, your master. It's taking this long to explain this all, but I have to do it in a way to where you understand. That's the reason why I'm taking as long as I am. Now the fifth word. If you didn't guess it, it's obviously trust. Trust him beyond your life. By me saying trust him beyond your life, it means you trust him in such a way to where yes, you would die for him, but in another way to where it doesn't matter how weird something sounds, listen to him. Doesn't matter how strange or unusual something sounds, listen to him. Do as he tells you to. Because by you learning to trust him this deeply, he may end up, as it is his duty to protect you as your master, as it is his duty, you will be able to maybe avoid life or death situations to where he ends up saving your life. And by you learning to do it, trust him that much, you won't have to hesitate on, should I do this or really should I not? Obviously, I am aware of you and him thinking about doing pretty bad things in the future to get back at a couple of people. I shall not name names, since I'm already aware of them as much as you and him are. But, yes, Gypsy, keep that all in perspective. Trust him beyond your life, as that's the way I'll put it. Which means you trust him more than you trust your own self. That is the literal definition of it. There's the 5 words. If you stay true to all 5 of those, I don't think you're going to have any trouble. I really don't, because those are like the 5 golden words. So I'm all going to use all 5 words without a single sentence. So this way you remember, and then I'm going to say goodnight to my slave. And then we will see if you do your 10 minutes, as that's probably what it will take you to answer all I've said. And such and such. Now here's the 5 words. First one is obviously So I'll just give you all 5. I'm not going to put them in the exact order because there's no reason to. Obviously you got selflessness. Obviously you got obedience. You got honesty. You also got honesty, obedience, and selflessness, as well as trust, as well as, what was the last one? Was it worship? Yeah. You got the 5 words there. All 5 of those, you remember the 5 and make sure you keep up with all 5 of them. You'll be finding it so much easier to keep him content. And if he keeps you content, you will probably be getting spoiled like the little girl in you wants him to. How do I know this? I know how the different parts of the female think. So, exactly, Gypsy. Since I've been a master for too long to count within the thousands of years I've been around. But yes, Gypsy. Now I've said that, I believe it's time for me to say goodnight to my slave. And I would advise that you make sure your video goes, if it does go past 10 minutes, make sure it's in the seconds that it goes past that. Which means, if you do end up making the video and it goes to 10 minutes, since you might have to literally do that just to be able to answer all of what I've said, make sure it does not go to 11:00. It can be 10:59 and you would still be safe, and I will not yell at you. But yes, Gypsy, that is what is expected by your master. Since it's what it will take for you to answer these almost 24-minute video. Alright, Gypsy, now I'm going to say goodnight, and hopefully, just hopefully, you listen to my wise words, because I am only doing this for your own good, as that is what a master is meant to do. Alright, first off, I will say that you must shape up on the arguing. If I have to butt in before you meet him on the arguing, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. I'm doing this because you two need to stop arguing. I'm going to say this now. Yes, it may bring you guys closer, as that is the natural reaction of what happens, natural physics thing that happens when it comes to soulmates or twin flames like you and him are. It doesn't necessarily mean you should keep on doing it. The thing is, I might as well mention this. You're damn lucky I'm giving you this much time. Since it's now on my mind, I must mention it. Gypsy, the thing you must understand is that these moments that you are arguing are moments you're meant to argue. So this way, you and him know it's still real between you two. Because by you two thriving for as long as you do before the next argument, it makes you both feel, is this real, is this real? And it makes you feel as if maybe we're just in a wonderland and there isn't any conflict to wake us up. And each time you run into these conflicts, it reminds you of how lucky you both are to have each other. And that's the reason why you get pulled closer again. So, by this all happening, that is why you feel as you do. It's the reason why you felt as close as you did. All of a sudden, you felt like you pushed so much closer to him after that last argument. But yes, I will butt in one of these times, and if I do butt in, you're not going to like it. Since I am the one that you cannot try to stand up to. You try to stand up to me, I might not even give you him. That might be the way I react back about it. And I know you don't want that to happen. Okay, Gypsy. I've said what I've had to say. Now it's your turn to answer me within 10.59 minutes. Such as 10 minutes and 59 seconds. If you can do it within that amount of time. If it goes 11, you will be yelled at, as I warned you the last time now. And we'll see how you do. Okay, time for me to say goodnight. Since I've got everything out of the way. And don't forget what you were taught when you do your response video back to your master. Yes, the bow I'm talking about, and you saying hi to me as the correct way you are taught. If you don't do that, you're going to get grilled by me, and I don't think you want that. You only want your master to be proud of you. And pleased, of course. But yes, here we go. Now that I've reminded you of all of that and what to expect, and I suggest that you wear something that is innocent while you are talking to me also. Something that is innocent and white. You can use your imagination on what that could be. Maybe some type of dress that would be that way. For example, maybe. And mention the 5 things I mentioned, the 5 words about how you will most likely follow them as you should. And if you understand what I'm saying, as I did mention earlier before I ended this video. We'll see how you do. Hopefully you make your master proud of you. Here I go. I love and adore you, my dear slave Gypsy. And consider yourself lucky, because here's your goodnight kiss. Since I believe you'll listen to me, hopefully, well enough to where you've earned this goodnight kiss. But yes, goodnight, Gypsy. May you make your master pleased and proud of you.
Hey sweetheart, you hear that rattling? Yeah, I'm trying to eat some chocolate right now. I'm not a huge fan of milk chocolate, but I will still eat it. That's what that is. That's Russell Sulfurs. Bar only costed 89 cents. Since it's Easter. But yeah. This is the second video. For tonight. Now I got that out of the way, I'm gonna finish eating this what's in my mouth before I talk anymore. Since I did tell you I was gonna rush that one video, but this one I'm not, so yeah. So I think I'll wait for this. Yeah, it's another piece of chocolate. See, I've already expressed to you in the first video how bad I'm missing you. How much you mean to me, and I said I was going to say it a different way in this video, which is true, I'm going to. And then I'm getting ready right now. Right now I'm actually getting ready. The first video that I sent, as you know, you use the same program as I do, so you're going to know exactly what program right away is on this computer. But yeah, here. Yeah. That's the first video right now being converted. As you know, I'm not afraid to show you everything that's going on. You're my queen. And you mentioned how the king is supposed to protect the queen. The queen is also supposed to protect the king also. Remember, honey, this is a saying and it's true, not to mention how good it sounds as you hear it. And that's the reason why I have to give you it, because this is a perfect time for me to give you this saying before I stop this video. And I am doing this way when you see the second video more than one time, you remember the saying for the rest of our lives together. Here it goes. Every man needs a woman when his life is a mess, because the queen protects the king, just like in a game of chess. It's true. And obviously you know about all the situations that's going on with me. My situation with my money. I already told you about that online. Why I am right now so damn low on money. Obviously you've already reassured me more than once on camera that gifts don't mean anything to you, but the best gift that you could really ever receive from me is my time with you. That's all that you could ever ask for. I feel the same way. And feeling the closeness I feel towards you is part of it also. But the truth is, not just the time you have with me to be the best, but the truest, most precious gift you could give me is yourself. And you've already given yourself to me. So there's nothing more for you to give. I mean, obviously you're going to stay obedient and all the rest of those words towards me for the rest of your life, obviously. Even after your life is over, you're going to do it. You've already admitted that to me too. But, yeah. Other than that, let's get in there. Yeah. Now, to end the video, before I do though, I did say I was going to say the full thing. You usually have been saying online lately. I want to give you one last other thing I want to say before I do. Besides that saying, and I hope you say true to remembering that saying, because this one time my life becomes a mess, first one that's going to come from me is going to be you. And not only that, I'm actually going to expect you to be the first one. So, yeah. You were trying to comfort me earlier today, actually. When I did read your messages about yesterday, you were trying to comfort me, and I was happy you were. As I obviously always be. Obviously, I want to eat this piece of chocolate right now, so I'm gonna get to say goodnight right now, honey. You know, I could talk and talk and talk. I could make a lifelong video, and then finally, after I freaking have made the lifelong video, which is who knows how many hours, I could send it to you, and then maybe in the next lifetime you get it. No, I'm just giving you a joke, honey. A romantic joke. Which would be quite romantic. So that way you can see our entire life together in one video. I shouldn't attempt myself on that, actually. That would be we would need cyber speed of a freaking connection for that to be possible. Cyber speed. Yeah, honey. I would say the sugars are rubbing off on me right now. No wonder I'm getting all happy. But other than that, you're the only other answer for my happiness. You said in that one video I was watching, if I'm happy, you're happy. Well, I was just emotional earlier because basically, I show you my true feelings every day, whether it's online or on here, or yeah, on camera, online, on the phone, don't matter where, I show you it. And I think you've gotten past that moment where you realize my feelings are real a long time ago. But even after that, by me doing what I'm doing, I'm actually reassuring you that they're gonna stay that way. And I gotta put that chocolate down for a mess in my hand, and next thing I'll be able to eat it, but yeah. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I want this hair gone. I want that hair gone. I want that hair gone. No. But really, I do want a haircut. I'll give you something to laugh about me being goofy. At the same time, romantic, and all the rest of the stuff you used to see me online and on camera, don't. Alright, honey, I'm gonna give you the good night for this video now, and then I hope you enjoy the other video. I have a lot to do before I can make it, but I'm gonna try to do all of it all tonight. Even if that means I gotta go sleep early in the morning, meaning 3 o'clock, something like that in the morning, even if it means that. Just so you can have the video. Because I've been promising you it for so long, and I've been able to get to it because there's so much I gotta do to make it even possible. The only reason I haven't gotten to it. But yes, I'm doing it tonight. And your first video has been converted. Really, honey? It's like voila! I know you'll enjoy this video. You'll be able to tell just by seeing me on camera that I'm going to be a pleasure to be around. More than just because you would worship me like you do. Just because of my personality, it's truly colorful and irresistible, and you've mentioned it as being amazing, and other things you've mentioned it as, which are all true. You're expressing how it really is. Anyways, yeah, honey. Now, here I go. Here I go. I love and no. I'll do it the way that is meant to do it with correct spelling and grammar. The right way. That's the reason why sometimes you say I love and adore and worship you. I'm like, honey, you're using too many hands. No! Where's that comma when you need it? Oh gosh, how colorful I can be at times. Hey, I surprise myself at times. Okay, honey. Here we go. Really this time. I love, adore, and worship you. My wrestling queen. Yes, I use my German tongue. Can't help it. That's another thing you just have to adore about me. Good night, Oh my gosh, I'm having too much fun now. All of a sudden, because I'm all hyped up. I'm hyped up, I tell you. I'm hyped up. I'm hyped up. Okay, now last time, and this time I'll make sure that you can hear me. To reassure you, I love, adore, and worship you, my amazing little king. And good night, my female copy of my own soul. Such a blessing, honey. Hey, sweetheart, I figured I'll give you this message. This is a delayed message, obviously, dear. Yes, I am using my laptop for you to get this message. First off, happy delayed, Valentine's Day, honey. And just as you'll get to see in that picture I'm going to send you, I am wearing the only ring that actually works. That other one gets too dirty constantly. It's the reason why I didn't bring it with me. But I did bring and did wear the original ring that you got me when you went to Cape Cod, honey. But yes, dear. This year, the year before this, now it's like about 4 months after we've, let's see, got October, then you got November, December, then obviously January, and then February. So, yeah, that's about right. About 2 years and 4 months we've been together, dear. It's about that much. We're only a few days away from exactly that. But by the time you get this message, it'll be more than that. That we've been together. But, yes, dear, this is my only chance to really make this video for you. And you know you're queen, you're king. The thing is, I'm thinking about you constantly. So I'm like, because I know you too well, and I'm thinking of what you would say, what I would say, constantly going through my brain. It's a complicated thing to not mix myself up on, because I know what you would say in so many different situations, just as I know what I would say. It's really weird when you are connected to your twin flame, like I'm connected to you, and when I think about how we're connected, I mean, I can actually think of exact quotes that you would say, whether it was from a past lifetime or things you've actually said already as we're together now. I can just think of exact quotes, and sometimes you'll even forget them while I still remember them. As you know, your king is really well known for his, how to put it, and yes, I had to do this, remember, dear? I had to shave a little bit because of that fish fry I told you about. Anyways, honey, yes, I was talking about my memory. I tend to forget very, very little. I remember the only time you've ever lied to me. I still remember that. Hopefully, ever since then, you've always been true and honest to me, as I believe in that you have been. I don't deny it at all. And it's kind of funny, you keep on saying that there's stuff I don't know, when you don't realize I'm walking through the same life with you, within my soul being around you. By my soul being around you, okay, honey, there's one thing I gotta teach you about spirituality. Thanks to, who my spiritual brother, Ricky. He's the one who taught me. And ever since I was taught it from him, that's how I know what I know. Sweetheart, in actuality, the reason why I can be around you is because, yes, it's because we're twin flame soulmates. Yes, it is that reason. But another reason is because if I did not connect with you on a spiritual level, it'd be impossible for me to find you. That's why. If I never connected with you on a spiritual level, that is the case. And that's the reason why I'm always around. That's the reason why you can't say, hey, there's something you might not know. Every single time you say that, I have to laugh. Or I'll be like, actually, I did know that. Sweetheart, you gotta remember, your king's always around. Whether you realize it, that you can't see me because I'm only in spiritual form, but there's times I will reveal myself to you in spiritual form. Most of the time, as you might notice, it's at nighttime when I do it. That's actually when I usually reveal myself in that way. Most of the time, it's daytime. You can feel my presence around you, but you can't see me. That's on purpose, though, because I need to make sure you remember at all times. Regardless of how lonely you feel at times, you might end up feeling a cold touch onto your back out of nowhere while you're crying yourself to sleep, and all of a sudden, that touch feels too much like me. So you know I'm literally there. All of a sudden you get cheered up just because that one touch made a difference. Made you feel like, well, I might not get him in physical form, at least I get him in spiritual. And all of a sudden everything's better. And remember, dear, you only touch the taste of my soul can do to you. Can make your body do. It's weird on how the male tends to be the dominant figure out of the two different sexes more often than the other one. It's really weird. And then it also becomes true in spiritual form, which is so fascinating to me. And I only take advantage of it when I see a reason to do so. But yes, darling, I am aware of how far we've come. To be an estimate, these 2 years and 4 months that we've been together. It's an estimate. Probably by the time you get this, it'll be even longer we've been together. But yes, it's been, from the very first day you and me were together to now, even before we even were together, it was a struggle to even find each other. We both have went through a struggle to find each other. Me, I was going through a lot more hell than I was ever hoping to have to go through. You know my story, I've already told you it, and you've said that you're sorry that my past had to be so rough before I met you, but all it did was ready myself for you, is all it did. It means that J word, if I never met her, I would have never been more ready for when I am with you. Or any of those other people. They all readied me for you. And I know that you were, only one to have one person you really fell for. In a sense, fell for. More like an infatuation, as you said it was. I do believe you it was infatuation, because if it wasn't infatuation, you wouldn't be able to get rid of it, like you were able to. But yes, dear, I said as I said. You only had to deal with one, while I've had to deal with, probably at this point, it's hundreds of heartbreaks by now. So I really went through hell just to find you. And that's another reason why you gotta stop mentioning that. And when you told me about your plan that you had about when you were meeting, I'm thinking that is so girl-like of you. The reason I say that, honey, is because I know the difference between a woman and a girl. Believe me, I've been through plenty of relationships where I know I'm with a girl, not a woman. And that's part of the reason why you trust me to mold you, to shape you into the woman I know you can be. Because you've become her more and more. As I might have had to endure stuff as you've gotten older, gotten wiser. And you learn and you learn and you learn. That's all you can do is learn as you live, honey. That's the same with me. That's all I ever do. Even though I learn at a lot faster speed. Because, of obvious reasons. Visions and all the rest of that stuff that's going on. That or touching visions or whatever freaking psychic things going on with me. But yes, dear. I have to say, the entire time we've been together, it's been, as I've said it before, I'll say it again just because it's true. It's been a blessing. It has been. It's actually been a blessing. I really don't know how else to put this in words. I knew that as soon as I found this is the weirdest thing about it. I knew as soon as I found my actual twin flame, my soulmate, my other side of me. As I said, you look female version of me. That's how I know you're her. More so than anything else. I mean, everything else pops out also, like your personality and other things that I expect. But your physical features shocks me. Even to this day, it shocks me how much you look like me. It shocks me. Shocks me, obviously, in a good way, though. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, every time I look at you, I'm thinking I'm looking at myself, but I'm looking at a female form of myself. So that's partly the reason why I'm as comfortable as I am to talk to you, and why I don't hide anything from you, and all the rest of that. The thing is you were hiding your plan. Until yesterday, of course. But, I still can't believe you thought such of stuff like that, but now you're more of a woman. And you want to follow my lead more so than ever before, which I'm proud of you for trusting me to do, dear. I'm proud of you for that. So, I'm wearing this for this video and for when I go outside. Otherwise, usually I'll take it off for when I'm inside because I have no reason to keep wearing it, keep wearing it, keep wearing it, keep wearing it. The truth is, the reason why I don't like wearing rings on the main part of wearing them is because they suffocate your skin. And we both know skin needs to breathe. Otherwise, how do you think wrinkles get into the skin? That's one of the reasons why wrinkles appear. But, yes, dear. What else is there to say to my love? Now that I had a chance to make this video for you, dear. Well, thinking about it as I'm making this on my laptop. I'm gonna say what I was talking about yesterday before you were falling asleep because I'm kissing you, put you to sleep. As it may have actually been intentional that I put you to sleep that way, whether you realize it or not. I did admit that my kiss is so dangerous that you would be at my mercy as soon as I do kiss you. Whatever I wanted to do with you, you'd be helpless but to only allow me to do it. You'd be defenseless, you would not be able to resist at all. You would just let it happen because the overwhelming feeling you get inside you from my kiss is like no other kiss you'll ever feel. I mean, you could kiss a professional kisser and you'll notice the difference between him and me. Me, I'll literally actually take you to a new dimension practically. How intense my kiss will be. That's part of the reason why you get lost in my kiss to the point you become at my mercy. But not only that, you know, I've admitted it. Touching. I'm a master of physical affection when it comes to my hands. That, and I have the damn kissing skills. So no wonder it's going to be impossible to really resist me. More so than that your soul and your body wants me to seduce you in the first place. More so than that, which makes it even harder for you to resist. So it's like, oh, I'll just let him do whatever I want him to do that he wants to do to me as he pleases because there's nothing else I really could do anyways. That would be the attitude you have to have towards it. Which, then again, those submissive things about you, and I did mention about you having more turn-ons appear in the future that you're not even aware of. I can tell you're not aware of by what you said to one turn-on post. Let's just say that as many things as you have as a turn-on, I'll find it impossible for you to not want to do me probably no less than 3 times a day, literally. Because I'll end up making accidentally one turn-on happen or another. To where the next thing we know, it'll lead to one turn-on and then we'll be all over each other. But yeah, dear, I just had to make this video so this way you had the chance to get a Valentine's video from me. As you see, you know your king is known for coming through for you at some point. And yes, I am going to give you that picture I talked about. I'm also going to make a picture of my hand by itself. besides me smiling. But a serious smile. Like a serious happy smile is what I did before. But anyways. Wow, going on 15 minutes. That's the thing about your king. I always spoil you with you being able to hear more and more and more about me. More and more what's going through my brain. I don't know if I'll get another chance to make you another video. I'm gonna watch your video again after I'm done with this video, just because I can. And then after that, hopefully you like everything that I said and such and such. Oh yeah, I forgot. That's right. You're gonna watch this video. That's right. You're gonna be turned on as soon as you watch it. Honey, do your best so you can to control yourself after you watch this video. I know it's gonna be tough. I know it is. But I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I mean, you can do it while you're alone. If you're around me, you're at my mercy. Because you know my dominant nature and you know everything else. It makes it impossible. You know the impossible equation. You actually end up having that impossible equation, which means you're pretty much how to put it? You're a human that has flame within her that can only be sparked to ignite bigger and bigger and bigger only by me. Everyone else can ignite it, but they can't ignite it to a level that they want to. Meaning, I can go and I can get you so excited that you don't know what to do with yourself. Literally, you do not know what to do with yourself. I mean, to the point you lose your mind, and whatever I do, you just let it happen. You just let me take over the moment. And that's part of the reason why I'm so famous in our relations towards each other, whether it was our past lifetime or this one we're about to be sharing together. The reason I'm famous for it to you, I'm famous to you for it. You know I'm very well aware of how I can do that. So, yes, there. And I knew you would get what I wanted you to about the whole thing. I knew you would get that. And next thing you know, you're exactly like me when you're next point. Just like I am. Yeah. Well, I could keep going for a very long time, but I don't know how much more time I'll have on here, so I'm gonna say goodnight now, honey. And one more thing first. You said that you were understanding on how it's hard for me to get a video done and all the rest of that because you know I'm usually always, and I did say always, the type of person who makes sure you get whatever amount of time you need to be able to make a video. Because I know that you aren't always able to make them also. Because you always need time alone. Just like I needed time alone, I'm here. Yes, I'm still at my grandma's house and I did fulfill what I said I was going to do. I'm going to stay here until the end of the month, like I said. So, that's what I'll be doing. But, yes, dear, all I expect you to do is just answer every topic I brought up in a video. I mean, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because I know my giggle probably made you giggle and probably turned you on and all this other stuff, probably. As I know how I can influence you. It's weird. I actually know everything out of that nature. And I'm not even around you physically, and I know it. So I know you probably giggled, and I probably know that you got turned on by my giggle and such. But I'm trying not to turn you on, even though it's actually impossible for me not to. Other than that, dear, what I said I wanted to actually you to do is on Facebook, answer every topic I brought up, whether it was the rape or how we really are blissful together, or how we connect, or all the different topics I brought up. All the different topics. You have so many to choose, and I hope you can answer as many as you can, even if it's in a brief message for each one. you know, to have a little detail with each one. That's all I ask. Other than that, let's see. You could mention about the turn-ons. You can mention about, like I said, how we end up getting to the point we went rape control. When we maxed horny, you can mention that. You can mention on how we are always blissful together and always tend to understand each other so well. I mean, to where no one else will understand each other like we do, unless they're twin flames like we are. What else is there? Well, I did mention, my ring that you got me. You mentioned, how you don't mind if I'm wearing any, or if I think that you've already admitted that you don't mind if I'm not wearing one as long as I'm staying loyal. And I've been only wanting to wear this one because it's easier to get off my finger and such. So, yeah. So I'm going to give you another picture with this besides the one you already will get. So you have two pictures and then this video. So it makes up for the lack of timing. It makes up for it. But, yes, sweetie. Other than that, I got you on 20 minutes. I'm spoiling the hell out of you right now by giving you all this extra time. Damn, woman, I am one person who loves to spend my time for you. And I know you not only are grateful for me doing this for you, but you're also, yes, blessed. I know you're gonna use that word. I stole it out of your mouth. But, besides those, you're just happy I was willing for 20 minutes, about to be now 21 minutes, into, time to speak to you. Yeah. And that's crazy. I mean, I was just thinking deeply on what I was going to say when I did this video, since I noticed I had my chance. And I pretty much touched everything. I mean, like I've said, you can mention about how we've been able to be blissful throughout our struggles we've had, and such and such. And the weirdest thing is, you always end up having no choice but to trust me in the end of each struggle, because you've noticed I've been right about every damn one of them. But it only makes more validation for my visions and all that stuff. So it's weird on how we both know about our first son being our first child, but it's quite nice. And yes, Nicholas Paul Godejohn Jr., I figured I'd give this message to you also. That he loves you and he always will. Remember that. Alright. I know that you'll both now enjoy this song. I just said hi to him too. Alright, I'm not gonna let it go any further than 25. I'm really gonna make sure it stops at that point. I didn't even want him to let it go to freaking 10 or 20. But going past that now. Alright, darling. I know you will enjoy this, because any video I give you, you always enjoy. So, with that said, I will now say my goodnight to you. And I might say one last thing after I'm done with the goodnight, before I give you the goodnight kiss, of course. But here we go. I love, adore, and worship you, my loving blessing queen of true bliss. And good night, my loving Cinderella. Or should I say, good night, my amazing Bella. Since you're more like that story with me and Beauty and the Beast. Since it has more aspects of that story that fit us. More than any other couple I've noticed, as you've talked about before. You're gonna mention that one, honey. And then, now I'm about to do the goodnight kiss. Before I do it though, I want to mention one damn thing. Obviously, I know you're a lady, and you've been taught to be one, whether it's your current master or it'll be me, you're gonna always be a lady no matter what. Because I'm gonna enforce what he's enforced, which would force you to stay that way. Even though you wouldn't mind staying that way anyways, because it's rightful to be that way, to stay a lady. Obviously, I know you're gonna thank me for the video, and how much you might have maybe even worshipped it, that sacred word of ours. Since worship is obviously the deepest level, and then you get the top of that, next thing you know, as we worship each other completely. But yes, sweetie. Make sure you do that, besides give a brief message per each topic on Facebook. That's all I ask from you, honey. Okay, now time to do the good night kiss. I'm gonna spoil you because I've done do nothing but it by me prolonging it as long as I have. I'm gonna spoil you. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Good night, my love. My But really, good night, honey. Hi, Gypsy. It's your former master bit there. I told you I was gonna make a video. Yes, based on what you said in yours. So you think this is a farewell for good. But if you believe it is, it's possible it could be. But when you mentioned about me having a new slave, that part was not really fully accurate. You know that I already had Dimona. And the reason I would have another slave is to fulfill time as if she was to not be around. Otherwise I wouldn't have another one. And me knowing Dimona, her sexual self as she is, I believe she would possibly be able to understand a vampire's type of sexual prowess to where she would understand why it would be needed if it ever came to that. Even though she would want me more all to herself than anything else. Anyways, yes, Gypsy, I might as well mention all this. Now, is there any specific things I wish to speak about? Well, let's see here. Is there anything I was going to say? Well, for one, you admitted a long time ago, just around the time just after I gave you to Nick. Just around that time, you mentioned that you realized just how much I've actually taught you. And then when you actually make that video that you made not too long ago, which was your farewell video pretty much. Not a goodbye, but a farewell, which means it could be appearing at any moment back in your life possibly. But anyways, when you made that, just before you made that video, just after I gave you to him, not only did you realize how much I actually impacted your life and how much you know now. Of course, Nick is out to teach you a lot of the other stuff, and there is stuff that he'll have to have me teach you that he might not be able to teach you in the correct way you should be able to pretty much learn. But yes, just thinking about it, that's another thing to think about. So yes, there is possible moments where he'll actually give you, for a limited amount of time, for me to teach you that I need to. He'll end up giving it to me just for that reason. Otherwise, until me and Dimona, since Dimona knows I've already made my mind up, I'm gonna let her come with when I decide to do my journey trip of what I gotta do. However, there is things that she'll have to know that I'll let her know when, around the time that she was to know it for sure. Right now, I'm just letting her make sure she does her job, since she knows that I told her, as it was my own command to her, to make sure she helped you get these videos out for Nick. So obviously be more than likely working hard to make sure it's possible. That could be also part of why you might be yelled at a lot. But she ended up helping you push your mom into doing maybe errands that might pop up out of nowhere. Any little detail that she can find, she'll probably throw in there. Me knowing Dimona. But anyways, yes. Now, I have to admit, going from a completely untrained slave, going from there to where you are now, you aren't fully trained. Believe me, I've had plenty of slaves in my past. That's the reason why I'm probably gonna always be a more respected, more, what other word besides respected could I use? More, see, you got respected, you got more wise, and I guess you could say more smart also, of a type of master that you actually ever had. I mean, Nick may be a unique one because the way he is a master to you, he still is his sweet self. That's until you mess up. As soon as you mess up, as you might have noticed, you've already made his dominance out of him. I already knew about that side of him a long time ago. So, exactly, Gypsy. That side of him was meant to be there. Because, well, you can get sassy at times, and you are overtaken by how it came about the first time you met him on the, web. On the web, meaning online. You might be even way more, and I mean way more, overwhelmed by it when you meet him in person. I'm only saying this because, like I said, I've known all the different parts of Nick way longer than you have. I've already told you that my history with him goes within lifetimes. I've actually known his soul for lifetimes. So yes, this is why I know as much about him as I do. Besides me being part of him, of course. For the moment that I am. But yes, I'll end up going out to do that thing I must do. Gypsy. So when Dimona comes with me on this, you're gonna end up having to deal with the black one more often. Right now he's, as you can tell, not really active at all. He's actually quite silent. Even though he'll be the one causing all the mischief, more than likely. I think the reason why he's quiet, if I had to guess, is just because he wants a real opportunity to strike. And yeah, that's where you're gonna have to truly shine at times. For you and Nick, such as for you and him as a couple. You'll have to shine. But anyways, yes. Now, let me go back on what I was saying earlier. So I'm going to make this video pretty well worthy of watching. Even though I think my time that I'm giving you in general is already worthy. You got you coming in on October 17th of 2012. You just became with Nick at that time. About 2 months later, approximately about 2 months later, around December I would say, is when you met me. That's when Dimona met me as well. Shortly after I met you. So let's see here. If I had to say anything about this, you would realize about that moment, the weirdest thing is that the day that I met Dimona, which was the 31st of December, was the exact day my birthday was. According to this atmosphere, this world, otherwise where my vampire soul is from, isn't from here. So the way that time works, from where my soul is actually from, it works differently. Let's just say that the time span is no less than 2 days. It would equal within this one day. So it's like 2 days longer. For example, instead of it being 24 hours, you would have to worry about 72. So now, that's just a little insight on that. Alright, so when you first came in, I of course scared you, as it's a natural reaction to most beginner stage. You, I would say, is now at maybe a novice level. Not beginner anymore, but novice, I'd say. Which is a little higher. If you wanted to go on colors, I would say, when Nick is ready, he'll most likely test you to give you your yellow color, since he believes in the same system I do, ironically, when it comes to those colors. So, most likely he'll probably test you when he believes you're ready. Even though I think, with as much as you've learned, that you actually are pretty much there for the yellow. As for you being close to black, you're far away from that. I mean, very far away. The type of discipline and obedience you have to have within yourself to listen to him is so keen and so overwhelming, of what you have to pretty much overcome of yourself. I mean, you have to give up all your self-pride, unless if he expects you to show it, obviously. But yeah, you have to sacrifice your self-pride for, instead of self-pride, as he will end up teaching you a little bit of what I'm about to say, which is ironic that I'm even mentioning this, since he knows how to teach you all this stuff, since part of becoming a master is not just learning about the master's code. He ended up going to learning way more than just about that. Obviously, he knows about the Dirty Dom one also. But anyways, part of becoming also a master is understanding how to lead, understanding how to, well, guide is pretty much the same thing as lead. But yeah, making sure that you're put on the right path for you to have your full potential reached. That's the reason why he probably is excelling like he is, and doing so with you, making sure that you're actually where you need to be. The reason why it seems like he's excelling and not having much trouble. Of course, if his dominant side, which I will warn you, it has its own personality like no other. I mean, yes, it is pure dominant side, obviously. But the way that he can manipulate his voice with that side of him would probably be like you've never experienced. That's the side of him that is not afraid to manipulate Nick's voice in such a way where, hard to put this in words, he's not afraid to go anywhere from the high to low tone. Whatever it takes to get your attention, he will use it. And the thing is that that side of him has mastered that dominance aura that he shows, as you felt his aura when you talked to him earlier. Well, that side of him, it has mastered understanding how to make that aura felt, to the point that is the side that it's actually understandable, and it's actually a legit good thing to actually feel. If you have that, he let me read that part about him, since it wasn't too important to where he had to not let me see it. But yeah, when it came to me actually reading, what I did read was that was talking about you being respectfully fearful of him, which he's right. That is probably the only form of fear that's reasonable. Otherwise, it shouldn't have any like that at all. Otherwise, yeah, fear shouldn't be there. Other than that, since respectful fear is probably the type of fear where you're always going to stay in line because you know what he's capable of, what you don't want him to do, what you don't want to do to him to make those things happen, etc., etc. But before, I know I keep jumping everywhere, but as you know, I've already told you, my mind thinks about 1,000 times faster than even a human can think. So, of course, I'm gonna end up jumping everywhere. I guess you could say I've always had that random quality about myself, where I could jump everywhere if I really had to. But anyways, yes. When you first came as a slave, you had a lot to learn, just as a beginner. Then you grew into more of a novice as you are now, I would say. Which means you have plenty to learn, obviously. Well, I mean, you went from Neo, which means new, literally means new is what Neo means, to beginner, then to novice. That's about the way I would put it if I had to put it in words. If I had to go as a smooth line, that's what I would say. But yes, that is what you did. So, now that I've pretty much mentioned this, the thing that I must mention that's last, as I'll make this a 22-minute at most for you. I'll give you a little more than double what you gave me, just to show my thanks for you taking your time to do that. And obviously, Dimona will be loving to hear from me on camera again, even if it's not to her. The way I know her, that's the way she is. Anything about me, she's obsessed. So do every little detail she could possibly do for me. And that's a interesting thing in itself, I would say. But yeah. Let's see. You know all about how you're supposed to command the whole command thing. You know all about that. What else do you know? You also know about how important certain words are, such as the 3 golden words. I'm glad you remembered them. He put you on a spot not too long ago to see if you remembered or not. The words that I was talking about were obviously obey, serve, and please. The 3 golden words. It's good to see that you remembered them. And he put you on a spot. That made me proud of you. Even as a former master, it did. So yes, you have a lot to learn. You have to learn the full master's code. Because by you knowing this code, he hasn't taught you at all yet, but he probably will, because he has really no choice but to, for you to be able to progress on the colors. Because it will allow you to understand what you need to know, based on what he sees as reasonable to do and not reasonable to do. That's with that guideline on that whole situation, so it's the reason why you have to learn it. Other than that, I really don't think there's anything else for you to learn, I would say. That is important to you understanding his role as a master. Because that's pretty much the most important thing you can learn. If there's anything else, I might mention it on maybe line, maybe. Or if I'm in person, I may mention it to you. But yes, I just decided to warn you on this video as well about his domicile. But yeah, that is the side of him that will make you submit pretty much all the time. Just to warn you. And what his domicile said is true. That is true. You're better off just backing down instantly, just as he said. But yes, that's pretty much all I had to mention on this diamond set, since I figured as I mentioned stuff about it, and I have about almost 2 minutes left. Alright, so then after that, is there anything else to mention? Anything else? Besides you learning about the Master's Code, you have to have all your specific traits about yourself increase. I believe Nick will know when you are ready to be the royal caller, obviously, since you already know that his original family, such as his first life family, that his soul first was or actually it wasn't even reborn, it was actually his firstborn time, now thinking about it. But yeah, that one there. I just thought about that. You must understand that since that was royal, that's the reason why technically if you did have a royal collar on, that means you'd belong to a royal family, regardless what you think about that. That royal family would be him. Believe it or not, he's considered the royal family, which means yes, he would be connected to obviously all his brothers and sisters and mom, dad, all the rest of that from that lifetime as royalty, but he would be his own king based on how the traditions are. Since as I said, I've known him for a very long time, way longer than you have, obviously. But yeah. So yes, I'm aware of all that stuff. Anyways, yes, you have to increase all that stuff before you're ready to become that. And you also have to increase your self-discipline. If you increase your self-discipline, your obedience to him is naturally going to go up. And that's important. Alright, well, it's about to be 22. I'm going to let it go to 22, just around the time that I actually end this. And if it does lag at times, such as the video doesn't seem to keep up, it's not fully my fault, just to warn you. It's the computer itself. Anyways, yes, that's that. I think it's time for me to give my last goodnight on video, unless I have anything else that I've ever had to say. I may at times say to the Demona, or I might mention you in another video, which will give you a reason I should watch it. Otherwise, that's about it. Obviously, Demona has reason to watch this one now, though. Alright, time to do it now. So hopefully you're ready, Gypsy. It was a pleasure teaching you as much as I could teach you. I've been being a master for probably half my lifetime, thinking about it now. Maybe 2,500 years, maybe, I would say. If I had to give an estimate, it's probably what I would say. About half my lifetime. So, that's a lot of slaves to think about. You were among top ones on learning out of all of them I've had. The only one that really learned faster than you would probably be Demona. Demona, there might have been one other, but that other one died pretty quickly. Mainly because of a war moment that happened. I won't go into too much detail about that because it's supposed to be saying goodnight. My very last time, unless there's something else I have to say to you in the future, or if I have to mention anything to Demona, obviously, where I could mention you in it. But yes, you were one of the top ones. I would say top 5, I would say. I'm not being generous either, I mean that. Probably top 5 of all of them I've ever had. But, yes, top 5. Yes, I'm learning. You did give me trouble, but most slaves will, so there's no big deal on that. But you probably gave me the least amount of trouble out of them all. The only one that you didn't give least trouble then is Mona, because then Mona naturally knows her place next to me. She knows that of my special abilities and all the rest of that stuff. She knows that not to cross me because of that. It's what keeps her in line. And I might be the only soul to be able to keep her in line because of it. But yes. I keep rambling on and rambling on. But yes, it was nice getting to have the chance to teach you what I could teach you. Maybe I may be able to teach you more when either Nick allows me to, because he might not know how to teach you something, or so on. Until then, I probably will always adore you, so don't worry about if I'll ever go away. I probably always will. I think I'm going to say 2 goodnights though. I'm going to say 1 to you and 1 to her. Just because I made her so much part of this video that it's reasonable that I mention Demon in this one at the end. Alright, time for me to do my thing, since Nick's father isn't here. You know, his Earth one, not his real one. His real one is from his first lifetime. I agree with him on that. And someday he will get to see him, obviously. Alright, just like his spiritual mother, but here we go. It's been a pleasure seeing you grow as you did, and getting to see how far you could get before I had to give you to her. The thing is that if I would have had a little more time, you might have been able to maybe grow a little bit more as a slave, but not much more, I don't think. I mean, I know how to get you to fully develop yourself as a slave. I do know how to do it, but that takes years and years of time. On average, anywhere between 5 to 10 just to get along that line of getting there. But most usually don't take any least amount of time than 10. So keep that in mind, Gypsy. You're probably going to be doing this a lot more. Learning how to be a better slave. Like I said, on average, for the average slave, it takes 10 years. That's just the little minimum time on average. If you wanted me to give you the actual average in general, the average in general would be 15. So yes, you may be his slave for a lifetime. Actually, you have no choice but to be, based on the paper, since I do remember that part. Which I am proud of you for being fearless enough to actually give yourself to him that way that you did. I am proud of you for that. But yes, Gypsy, time for me to say goodnight. Here I go. First to you, and then to Demona, and then from there. Now, my last words to you is continue to make me proud of you by me seeing how well you obey Nick, how well you listen to him, how well you've shown me that I was a worthy master to have taught you all that I have. Meaning, keep making me proud to see that you're not putting it all to waste, Gypsy. I have been proud of you, whether you realize it or not. I have been proud of you, as I've been able to watch little bits in here and there type of stuff. I have been proud of you. And he's been a very, very patient master for you. As, yes, I agree, he's a lot more patient than I am. But beware of his dominant side. Once that comes out, patience, 0. Just warning you. So when he's in person, you're going to have a instant, intense moment just pure out of nowhere. Yeah, which is something you're going to have to adapt to in order for you to be your best that you can be of a slave. But yes, time for me to finish this off. I've already did all I've had to mention how you made me proud and everything else. And this really must seem like an actual ceremony with it being almost half an hour. Lucky you. Yes, I'll miss you as a slave. Maybe as a friend too. Well, alright, Dimona and Gypsy, since I'm saying it to you both, time for me to say it. First to you, Gypsy, here we go. I love and adore you, Gypsy. Never ever forget that what Nick has said is purely true. He obviously does see visions and all that stuff because he keeps seeing stuff come true. When he says something, it does happen at some point. And down the line, it does. And you have been on the path where you realize that I remember stuff he was saying way back in the past that ended up coming true around, like, pretty recent, actually. Like, you being his dream woman and all the rest of that, and how that tied into the whole you being his slave and everything else. But yes. So yes, he did know that you were supposed to be given to him. He actually did know that. Just let me remember that. Yeah, yes. So, I'll finish this off. I love and adore you, Gypsy. Never forget. And also never forget how proud you've made me. I hope to, maybe when I come back from my trip, I hope to see that you've continued to be the slave that would make me proud. And good night, Gypsy. Now to you, Dimona. I mean, before I go to you, Dimona, one second. I will admit this about the lover thing that you said in the other video, Gypsy. I can't believe I forgot that. But yes, that is true. That is true. I will probably also be the lover always also. And the thing is that Dimona knows her place, so she knows that if I wanted to be that close to you, I'm allowed to, just because I was your master at some point. That's part of the master's code. That is one thing I will say, is that little detail that you'll end up learning. A previous master is allowed to stay a lover with a previous slave as long as the current master allows it. Which means at any moment I could actually do anything sexual with you if I had your current master's permission. So, or kiss you or any of the other stuff that no lover does. But yes, now that I've said that and I've already said goodnight to you, and now I can go to Dimona, since we're everywhere now. Me and my scattered thoughts everywhere, since I think too damn fast at times. Alright, Dimona, continue to make me proud by making sure she gets those videos out to Nick, since you know that if you did read what she was reading, which is that she is going to be making more than one video, you're gonna have to keep up on it. And that command was for all the videos. Don't think it was just for one. Just letting you know. Alright. But anyway, here we go. I love, adore, and worship you. Dimona. Good night, my sweets. Sexy. Slave soulmate. I'll give you one too, Gypsy, just so you're, even though you know that I technically do have a favorite, which is Dimona, I'm still gonna give you one anyways. And I'll give you both double one, which would be one for both. There you both go. Like I said, Dimona, you know you need to keep me proud of you. So keep up at it. And as for Gypsy, please, please keep showing me that you can keep up with Nick. Nick isn't going any way fast at all with you. He's being as patient as a human could be with another human. So don't think that he's going too fast on you, he's any of that stuff. You have no reason to complain, actually, since I have seen other masters with other slaves and everything else, and believe me, if there's anything I know, it's that I know the difference between one that moves a slave too fast before she really is able to develop or anything like that. I'm one that knows that stuff better than anyone. So if I have to put you in line one of these times because he gives me permission, I will do it. Don't think that part of me, given that chance to do that, is gone. It is still there. But most likely his dominant side will do it before I do. Me knowing how things work. But yes, I just might as well mention that since through Nick's power I can get those things at times. I can get those moments I used to always have. Alright. Now it's 35, I'll do my final good night kiss to you both, and then that's it. Since I just figured I'd give you a PM message, and that's what this ending was. If you were both wondering. There's my good night ending, and both of you continue to make me proud. Bye bye until then, both of you. Oh, what the hell. I'm doing one to Gypsy and to Demona of a double, I guess you could say. Just because I can be romantic at times, as Gypsy got to see that lovable side of me at times, but what the fucking hell, might as well. There. Double, one for each of both. And I'll hope to see you both make me proud as time goes on. And when I come back from that trip, just to see how you both are doing. Don't be thinking it's just making me proud if you continue to do what a slave is meant to do for her master and everything else. You'll be making Gypsy and Nick, you both would end up making not just me proud, but Demona proud. You'll be making both of us proud of you both. The thing is that Demona wants to see Nick be the ideal master that Gypsy deserves. I actually am into Demona's mind more than she realizes. It's the reason why she was being the way she was when she was supposed to be, Huru's slave, mistress. But anyways, yes, I know I'm rambling. I just had to mention that. So when I'm back on that trip, just remember, Gypsy. Remember, even while I was gone, to continue to do that. Never ever lose that. The reason why I'm rambling on is just to make sure that you get every little detail you need to have from me. It's just maybe my last video, this may not be. So it may be worthy of the long time that I gave you. Alright. Enough said. Good night to you both. And we'll see if you continue to make me proud, even through eternity, Gypsy, on how you do it, Nick. And obviously I know you will make me proud of you. You always do make me proud of you, Demona. As you're meant to. But yes, I will see how you do as time flows forward. Until then, we meet in person, since we still need to. This is my farewell until then.
What's your emergency?
Help!